Hey guys, unless you've been living under a rock, you definitely have heard about the National Association of Realtors settlement that was proposed, I believe, Friday of last week, so almost a week ago. Information about it has been all over the news, all over the media, all over social media. I just wanted to clarify a few of the myths that are out there right now. Basically, what I want to talk about is what really is the settlement all about and what it means for you as a buyer or seller of real estate. Little disclaimer, this is a proposed settlement, so A, it's not finalized yet, so that means things could change. B, I am not an attorney. I don't claim to completely understand every little legal nuance here. Neither do I know how people are going to react to it or handle it in real life situations, right, out in the field. But I think I have a pretty good idea of where we're standing right now, and I certainly will give you my take on where I think this will be going and the business will be headed. One thing you got to keep in mind, very importantly, as of right now, absolutely nothing changes. The proposed settlement, as I said, has not been confirmed yet, and if it does go through as proposed, it won't be active until July of this year. If it does get confirmed, here's what I think will happen. In my opinion, very little will change. The truth is that in reality, commissions have always been negotiable. Now, not every realtor might have told their seller that this is the case, but savvy sellers have been negotiating commissions all along. One thing that will change if the settlement does get approved is that buyers that want to be represented by an agent will have to have a written representation agreement. Many top agents have been doing buyer brokerage agreements for years, so this is also not a complete change to everyone, but it is a change to the majority of buyer's agents out there which are currently working without buyer brokerage agreements. It is also a change to the buyers, which generally do not sign an agreement before they start running around looking at homes with an agent. I, for one, welcome this change because it protects everyone. Nothing wrong with it. There will be maybe some hesitation on some buyers' side, but then again, those will have to go unrepresented, and that's a topic for a completely separate video. I don't want to get into that too much today. Of course, every broker or agent will have a certain degree of freedom on what their buyer representation agreement will look like. So you'll see different models there, and of course, that might be a distinguishing or deciding factor for you as to which realtor you'll choose. But these are the things that, I can't completely foresee how that's going to play out in all detail. But again, just be aware that, some agents might charge you X%, while others might charge you Y%, while the third one might charge you a flat fee. Again, there's going to be all kinds of different options out there, but you will have to sign a buyer representation agreement unless you want to go completely unrepresented. The biggest myth I want to debunk is that sellers will no longer be able to compensate buyer's agents. As it stands, this is absolutely incorrect. Sellers can continue to compensate buyer's agents the same way they always have. And since I believe it's in the seller's best interest to compensate a buyer's agent, I think that the vast majority of sellers will continue to do so. Where you might see a lot of sellers opting to not compensate buyer's agents is in a very strong seller's market, where homes basically sell themselves and the seller doesn't care about anything other than getting top dollar. But in any other market than a strong seller's market, the seller will greatly benefit from offering compensation to a buyer's agent. And again, listing agents will likely communicate that fact. Therefore, sellers will likely continue to compensate buyer's agents. Now, why is everybody advertising that the seller will no longer be able to pay a buyer's agent? I believe it's simply a misunderstanding, because what is happening as part of the proposed settlement is that the buyer's agent compensation can no longer be advertised in the MLS system as it is now. Again, so seller can compensate a buyer's agent, but the listing agent can no longer advertise that compensation. So what does that mean in reality? Well, a few things. For one, it's just a little extra step or a little extra work for us agents. Buyer's agent will have to confirm cooperating commissions with every listing agent before showing a home. Unlike now, where they just looked in the system and they knew what the offering was, again, it takes a phone call, email, text message to confirm. Assuming the listing agent does not offer a cooperating broker commission, there are again several options. A, we can skip looking at the house, which of course is the worst option, especially if it's a property a buyer really likes. So hopefully not too many agents will choose that option. I'm sure some will, because they don't want to work for free and they don't know how to get paid otherwise. But for most of us, I believe that as an experienced buyer's agent, we will show the home. If our buyer is interested, we will try our best to negotiate a cooperating commission with the seller, or the listing agent, I should say, because we typically don't speak with the seller directly. And as a last resort, if none of that works, we will approach our buyers and say, listen, I'll happily help you buy this house. However, they are not paying me, so we will have to work something out between us. And while many people think that is the end of the real estate market as we know it, it is a change, certainly. It is not that different from the way real estate transactions are handled in many other countries where both buyer and seller separately pay commissions to their agent or sometimes to one agent. The point is that I don't believe that even if that happens, it would be the end of the world and real estate transactions as we know them are no longer going to happen. Now that explains the buyer side. Now for the seller side, what does it mean for you as a seller? Well, like I said earlier, if it's a strong seller's market, you could opt to have a listing agent. You negotiate the listing commission with them, and you do not offer any co-op commissions. You'll probably have a smaller buyer pool, but since it's a strong seller's market, you're probably going to sell the house anyway, and you've made more money. So great, good for you. If it's a normal market or a buyer's market, it will be in your best interest to offer buyer brokerage commissions in order to expose your property to the largest pool of potential buyers. So very likely, just like right now, you'll be negotiating those details with your listing agent at the listing appointment, and there won't be very much change for you from the way business is done right now. So there you have it. As it stands, those are the major changes. As a quick recap, number one, listing agents will no longer be able to advertise co-op commissions. And number two, buyers that want to be represented by an agent will have to sign a buyer representation agreement. Those are the only two major changes that are very likely to come out of this whole settlement. In my humble opinion, none of those changes are going to drastically affect the way real estate transactions are being conducted. So what do you think about all of this? First of all, did this video clarify some things for you that you misunderstood before? How do you think it's going to play out? Do you agree with me, or do you have a different opinion? If you do, I would love to hear from you in the comments.